Hi, I'm Curtis Edwards. I'm owner and broker of the Dublin Real Estate Company, known as the RE/MAX Realty Team. We're proud to be locally owned and independently operated here in Dublin, Georgia. I'm so honored to have such a great team who takes RE/MAX Realty Team to the next level in Dublin, Georgia when it comes to servicing our customers' needs of real estate. And our commitment is one reason that our name is the Dublin Real Estate Company. We're proud of Dublin, we're proud to service our customers, but you as the public know us as
RE/MAX Realty Team.
First Lawrence Bank invites you to experience banking at its best. Whether you have personal or business needs, we're a full-service bank big enough to handle all of your banking needs and small enough to provide you with that personal touch you've grown to expect from a community bank like First Lawrence Bank. Looking forward to your future? That's First Lawrence Bank in Dublin and Dexter, member FDIC.
Welcome everybody. We're here today at Trinity Christian School with a brand new baseball coach. Josh Ward is coming in. Well, you're coming back, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I'm coming back. I graduated from Trinity in 2010, so it's a homecoming of sorts. So.
Well, now when you was at Trinity, we got a lot of multi-sport players. Tell me what you played here.
When I was here, I played football, basketball, soccer, baseball. I was telling somebody, I got to play soccer during baseball season, and they didn't make me go to practice because they knew I was baseball first. And I was like, yeah, I'll sign up for that. So.
Yeah, no practice. I mean, come on.
Can't beat it.
And I tell you, baseball to me is one of them tough sports because it starts. My grandson has played since he was little, but it always starts when you're out there in blankets and hoodies, and you know, baseball season starts. It's wintertime.
Absolutely, it starts in the cold. You got to be sure everybody is in shape with their arms and everything, and take care of those arms with it starting in the cold. But yeah, it's a long season, but that's also a lot of time to build something and to get better.
And you went on and played baseball at the next level.
Yes, sir. I played at Toccia Falls College up in North Georgia for 4 years. We had a lot of success, and then I actually stayed there a year and coached. And then I went to Houston County for a couple years before going where I've been the last 4 at Mary Persons.
And were you at with the Houston County Bears? Which school?
I worked at 2 middle schools there. I worked at Bonaire Middle and Fagan Mill Middle before going up to Monroe County Middle School and coaching at Mary Persons.
Mary Persons, man. I saw some of you. I literally felt the vibrate because a lot of people don't like Mary Persons around here because West Laurens, you know, is in the same region. And West Laurens won some, Mary Person won some, but it's always a tough fight either way.
Absolutely. And in baseball, I know we had a really fun rivalry. Until this year, we dropped down to 3A, but we had a really fun rivalry, some exciting games with a lot of fireworks every time we played. So.
Yeah, it was tough.
Absolutely. It was fun, though, because it was always competitive. And so it was good baseball.
Yeah, and of course this year, you know, West Laurens almost won it all. They made it almost to the end. Played the last few years. They've been very competitive in baseball. The girls softball. We've got you know, the Dublin Irish won state title 2 years ago. Made it almost made it this past year in a different region. Trinity, we've had state champions right here on the baseball field, and I was counting recently, it was like 40-something state titles at Trinity. I'm talking about across the board. And you're talking about Trinity's only 45, 46, 47 years old, and you got that many state titles. And you know, them early years you didn't have nothing. So that means you had to play catch up somewhere.
Right.
So there's a lot of pride on this campus that we're standing on, aren't there?
Absolutely. From across all sports as well, but no, there's a rich history here at Trinity, and where winning is expected, you know, and that's a good thing. When you're expected to win, I think that's a privilege. You know, pressure is a privilege, and so that's kind of something that we want to make sure that we're building and continuing here, is that we're winning.
I was at a meeting with the Better Business Bureau in Macon several years ago, and a guy played with Bear Bryant. and he made the comment that he said game day was the easiest day of the week. They couldn't wait on Saturday because practice was just like crazy. You know, you can imagine Bear Bryant and his staff, the winning teams they had, but you just said something that he told us, but he said losing was never in the cards. It was just how big you were going to win by. And see, if you don't expect, you have to inspect what you expect. And it's the same in any sport, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, I think winning's a mindset. From the time you step on the field at practice, whether you're working out, 3-on-1, whatever it may be, it's a mindset. And you've got to create the mindset so when you step in the box, you're just continuing what you've been working on every day.
What advantage will you have as head coach here playing at the college level?
Well, in college, I think it prepared me to be a coach. The little things that we worked on constantly, the repetition, the little things that I was able to see that won championships. I was able to see what it takes to be put in, and now as a coach, I take those things and I make sure that we're putting those things in so that we can go to the next level.
And staying that extra year, what did you learn there?
It was awesome to see the other side of it, you know, because sometimes when you're playing, your coach isn't always your favorite person in the world. But being on the other side of it, I was able to see the whys, why we're doing this and why we're doing that. So it really helped me to learn how to teach it and not just receive it. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, you come from Mary Persons, stopped off briefly in Houston County. So you look good in the Trinity shirt. How does it feel in the Trinity shirt?
Oh, it feels good. I wore Trinity blue for a lot of years of my life, so I'm used to this color.
Back home,
Yes,
huh?
sir. Yes, sir.
That is so good. Well, we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back.
At Lakes Alignment, we would like to take this time to thank our community for your support over the last 66 years, and especially these last few months with the opening of our brand new truck center. When you drive into Lakes Alignment, you get master trained technicians like Anthony Penny. Everybody calls him Bug, but it means so much to us. And on behalf of Neil Harden, Lisa, our staff, and the entire Lake family, we thank you for supporting us since 1954. Come see us today. We open every morning at 8 o'clock, and now our truck center is open on Saturday to serve your big trucks and equipment from 8 until 12. At Lakes Alignment, we thank you and this entire community, and will continue to serve you with the best trained staff and friendly, courteous service. Lakes Alignment, hometown people serving hometown people. Come see us today, 104 Johnson Street, East Dublin.
It's nothing personal, it's just business.
Hello?
That's how some people do things.
Right away.
To us, everything we do is personal. Because anyone can answer the call. It's who shows up that matters most. That's the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them.
Ask Curry Maffett Insurance in Dublin if auto owners make sense for you.
From humble beginnings with a desire to serve the Dudley community, Bank of Dudley has grown to 5 locations, serving Lawrence, Twiggs, and surrounding counties. Serving our community since 1905, the Bank of Dudley is looking forward to its 2nd century of community banking. Drop in today to any of our 5 locations: Jeffersonville, Dudley, East Dublin, Veterans Boulevard, and downtown Dublin. Bank of Dudley, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender. Welcome back, everybody. Continuing my conversation with our brand new baseball coach. I wanted to be the first to grab him and talk baseball, and not only talk baseball, but talk faith. We're going to talk a little more baseball in a minute, but you're the youth minister at Jeffersonville Church of God.
Yes, sir. I'm the youth pastor at Jeffersonville Church of God. I'm the praise and worship leader as well. So my wife kind of jokes all the time. She says, you picked 3 of the hardest careers you could with teaching, coaching, and being a youth pastor. But I just have a passion for young people and working with young people and what they're going through. And trying to lead them to the Lord. So. And
there's nothing like molding these young kids. And you coach middle school at Mary Persons, and that's even better to me. If I taught school, I'd want to be at the early years so I could, get them before they ruined or whatever, But coming into Trinity, the Trinity family, most of them. There's some new people here you don't know, but So you got to be already comfortable coming in, aren't you?
Yeah, I know the school, so that's a little bit more comforting coming in. I told somebody I don't know what it's going to be like teaching in a private school because I went to a private school, but I've been teaching in a public school, so I'm kind of excited to see the difference there.
Yeah, and I tell you, being in classes at Trinity, well, of course, we cover all the schools, but to be able to sit in classrooms like we do, and I know I've sit in Susan Frost's class and Chuck Grooms and so many classes like that. Faye Price was here for quite a while, but when you can teach science, like Susan Frost teaching science, and be able to expand on it to creation and not talk about dinosaurs being 50 million years old when we know they're not 50 million years old. The Bible breaks it down clear to us. But to be able to teach kids that.
Yes, sir. I mean, being in a public school, it's different. You can still live out your faith because that's part of who you are. And sometimes that's just loving on kids. You know, they know you care about them. They know that you're here for them. But in a private school, I'm excited to be able to openly share my faith, not just with my coworkers, but with the kids that I teach. So I'm excited about that.
And you know, you said something very important. People know who we are without ever saying or waving a flag. I've said it about my mom many times. I've never heard her holler from the mountaintop, "I'm a Christian," but she's lived it every day of my life. And I saw it in her life, how she raised us. And so many people can say that about their mom or dad or grandmother or a teacher or whatever, but you don't have to holler it from the mountaintop. You can live it and let people see you live it, as you did at Mary Persons. But now you get to openly, because you're going to be teaching Bible class.
Yes, sir. I'm going to be teaching Bible and some social studies in the middle school. So yeah, I'm excited to be able to openly talk about the Lord and to learn about the Lord and teach about the Lord. I'm excited for a new opportunity to do that.
Okay, you had told me, I wanted to ask you what your wife thought about this. Before you answer that, I love how y'all met. I thought maybe y'all met in high school or college. Well, you shot me down on both those theories, but tell our viewers how y'all met.
She was actually the great niece of my pastor for my whole life, and so she kind of came and visited my whole life. We knew each other, but we didn't start dating until we got older.
Boy, what a great pastor.
Yes, yes,
How
sir.
do you find a better pastor than that? Hook you up with this beautiful bride. And,
that's right.
And beautiful wife to, okay, the second part of my question, what does she think about coming here?
She's excited for me. I told her a while back, I think I said, you know, Coach Grooms kind of has the ideal job. You know, he gets to talk about the Bible every day, God's word, and then he gets to go coach baseball. I was like, what's better than that? And it's funny that the Lord's put me kind of in that same position. So she's really supported me the whole way, my coaching career, and you know, she told me I'll go wherever with you. So
you know, there's nothing like a good wife or good husband and I know y'all pray about every decision. I know that without even asking you, and when you pray about something and you know God's leading you down that path, you don't have to worry about is it right or wrong, because you know through that prayer and through Scripture that God is leading you down that path, and He led you. We talked earlier, He directs our paths.
that's right.
And He basically put you back on a collision course for Trinity, didn't
He did. He orders our steps, and sometimes we don't see how he's ordering our steps. Coach Cooey's kind of stayed in touch with me since I graduated, and he reached out again, and so we started talking. I actually had interviewed a couple of other places, and you know, after that I was just praying, Lord, just open the door where you want me to go and close the others, because the word says that He closes doors that man can't open. Amen. And He did that. He led me back here. I came and I spoke with him, and He made some things happen that we weren't sure could happen, and you know, as we talked, they wanted to pray with me before I left, and that went a long ways with me. Just reminding me what it's all about, you know. So
Yeah, and that's the thing about Mr. Cooley. I don't know if I've ever been with him where we didn't pray before we left. I just, you know, when you love somebody like you and I love Coach Cooley, I know y'all call him Coach because he coached here so long, and but it's just something about a man that'll humble himself and pray with you. Well, something else about Mr. Cooley, if you look around this campus, this sprawling campus, we're on the baseball field. I mentioned earlier, I'm sure you heard me, I'm repeating myself, but we got a soccer field and girls softball, and we got baseball, we got football, We got a brand new, we call it a multi-purpose building. There's a number of things you can do in it, but have you seen a private school anywhere, either when you was playing high school or since, that has this kind of campus?
No, it's incredible, really. I mean, even since I've graduated, there's the multi-purpose facility over there. There's a new hitting facility over here, so you can still get work in on rainy days and things like that. I think that just bodes for a huge amount of success in your athletics program. But I think it just goes back to the history from Mr. Johnson and the vision that he had, and what Coach Cooey was able to carry on, and now hand off to Coach Blackstock. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And another name, we throw in a lot of names here, but Barry Walker. We just named here a few weeks ago this facility over here. He was a big part, and being the man of humility like Barry is, he wanted to give everybody else the credit except himself. But he was every project needs a leader. And yeah, you had a lot of people like Jeff Graham and Graham Brothers and the Baggett family, Wild Boar, and on and on. I can't dare name everybody that was a part of it, but yeah, they played a part in it. But Barry had to be the quarterback, so to speak. And we just named this field, this complex, after him over here, and which was a surprise to him. But Barry Walker and his family have been very instrumental in where we stand right now, hadn't he?
Absolutely. Mr. Barry, I remember, I didn't have any of his kids who were my age, but I knew Mr. Barry. I think, he was here the whole time I was here. He was at everything. Mm-hmm. So even though none of his kids were my age specifically, I knew Mr. Barry. He was always present. He was always encouraging. And even since I've graduated, I think he still encouraged me to come back. So.
Yeah, well, that's the kind of man he is. And that's the kind of people you'll be surrounded by here at Trinity, whether you're in the classroom or at a basketball game, football game, or where. They're going to support you. They're going to support you. Now, they may get in private and say, hey, Coach, why'd you do this? And there's nothing wrong with discussing, but we don't do it in public. If you and I have a problem with each other, the Bible tells us we're to work it out amongst ourselves, or either go get the elders of the church and then and work it out that way. But as I look over your shoulder at the scoreboard, I just, what's that going to say this year? I mean, you got guests and then you got TCS down there. Who's going to have the most runs?
Well,
so I can play this back later.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm not much for predictions, but
Vince Dooley.
The only thing I want to say is that I'm excited for what we can build here. I think they graduated one senior from what I've heard. They have a lot of returning experience, which is always a good thing in baseball because you can't always simulate certain things in games, so experience goes a long ways. But I'm excited to bring some excitement with me and a younger, fresher perspective, I hope, and hopefully kind of build something where people are excited to come support us, excited to come play for this program. So I don't know what the scoreboard will say yet, but I think once you build that excitement and you put in the work, I think it'll pay off on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and you can work really hard, and sometimes the breaks don't go your way.
Right, that's baseball.
It's just the way it is, and it's frustrating when you practice so hard, and it's just the way the game is sometimes. Ball can take a wrong bounce, whatever, but I was actually kidding about the scoreboard because I know you good enough already to know you're more of a Vince Dooley coach than Steve Spurrier, I guess. I'd compare somebody that's going to tell you the score ahead of time. But it is exciting to be out here on this baseball field. It's a beautiful complex. And those of you that hadn't been to a game out here, come and support. It's local. It's local. It's local kids. It's a local program. Just pick a day and come out and watch a baseball game, or Friday night watch a football game. And you may say, well, my kids went to East Laurens or Dublin or whatever. It don't matter. They're all the way I look at it, they're all our kids. I don't care where you go to school. They're our kids. We should be invested in their future. So we want to go out and support all our local schools, but we especially want to get you, while we got you on TV right now, is to encourage you to come out to a Trinity ball game. And the baseball is great, but we're talking about that football field. If you ain't been to a game out there, you're probably saying, well, I've been to the Shamrock Bowl. Hey, the Shamrock Bowl is beautiful. I'm not going to say it's not. But nobody has that setting. And when Cleve Warnock and that group come in and basically sodded that field on their hands and knees and put it in them woods. Now, first of all, the trees wasn't that tall at the time, because 50 years ago or whatever, but the dream they had is still carrying on through people like you, people like Chuck and Mr. Cooley and Jeremy Blackstock and people like that. But we're going to take another break and come back and wrap things up. Stay with us.
Hey, I'm Glenn Register with Hometown Supply.
Anything they need for us to do, we do. We get warranty with everything, new and used. You can get what we call a tractor style mower that's less expensive than a zero turn is. You can spend basically half the money and do the same job. You come down and look at what we have, service it, we get parts for it. We can take it down there behind the store. We got a place down there we cut, show them everything about it. Take it out, set it up, do the financing on it, payment where you can handle it. You can get whatever you want and just about name your game. It's a one-stop shop.
And remember, if you can't do business here, you just can't do business.
Conservative treatment options are typically where we start with both knee and hip arthritis. So if you come in to see us and your hip is beginning to be arthritic or your knee's beginning to be arthritic, there's sort of a stepwise approach that we take. Anti-inflammatories, which are medicines like Motrin, Advil, Aleve, are usually sort of first line. We have prescription forms of those medications that we can use. In our elderly population, that becomes a little more difficult because they have comorbidities, things like diabetes or stomach ulcers or disease, that they can't take those medications, even hypertension. So we'll try to treat them with medications if it's appropriate. When it's not, then we go on to things like injections. So cortisone injections, or there's these things called visco injections or visco supplements, which are lubricating type injections that we can use to treat knee arthritis as well as hip arthritis to try to control people's pain. And a lot of times we do that for years for people before they get to the point where those are no longer working and we're ready to talk about knee or hip replacement.
Welcome back, everybody. I want to wrap things up with our brand new baseball coach here at Trinity and graduate here. If you just joined us in graduate 2010, and if you are just turning it on, you can go to our YouTube channel at TV35 and watch any programs we do. You can watch this program again or whatever you want to watch. All our programming is right there on our YouTube channel. And thing about TV, Josh, now a lot of people watch it on the go, on their iPhone while you come up a minute ago, and I was actually watching a funeral on mine that was broadcast earlier. But people at lunch will catch up on whatever, you know, and you put it on Facebook, you share things. It's amazing how many 100,000 people. Now, I didn't mean to stress you out, all them people watching right there. He's going to leave me just for saying that. But we are excited to have you here, Josh. And I want to end on how we talked about him just a little bit, but you had Chuck in high school, right?
Yes, sir. Coach Grooms, he was actually my Bible teacher, and then he was my baseball coach after school. So I saw him in both settings, and I just thought the world of him. And I know during college, I think I reached out to him, and we still talk all the time today. So I'm excited to be back here and know that he's still here. So I'm still able to work with him, and so I'm excited to kind of get to be even closer to him from a coworker and friend standpoint.
So we talked about Coach Cooley. Rick Johnson, I know he means a lot to you.
Yeah, Mr. Johnson was here while I was a student, and I love him. I know now that I'm older, I can see what he was doing with his 2020 vision and everything that he made happen. A lot of credit to Mr. Johnson and what he allowed the Lord to do through him here. So.
And I talked about Susan Frost. I didn't give you an opportunity, but did you have her in high school?
I actually didn't have her for any class, but I absolutely knew Miss Frost. So you couldn't come here and not know who Miss Frost was. So.
Absolutely. Of course, Miss Crozier, Jerry Crozier, he's the youth minister at Dudley Baptist. I'm sure y'all will be in close contact. And now, have you met Foy yet, Foy Williamson?
I knew of Foy he was a few years older than me, but I knew of him. But I have not gotten to speak with him since I got the job.
Yeah,
here,
he's an old man now. I mean, he's way up there. He's about as old as I am, really. But we probably got about the same amount of hair. I'll put it that way.
Well,
His on purpose, mine not. So.
I might catch up to y'all soon.
Yeah, that's right. But Foy is our youth minister at Bethlehem, and I talked to him this morning on the phone. He's always, if you ever having a bad day, and speaking of encouragement, just run into Foy in the hall or something, because he's always going to have a kind word to say, just like some of these other people, the Barry Walkers of the world that you were talking about. But okay, tell me. Think back. I'm gonna drag this question out so you can think just a minute. But what memories, as you look back in your high school years or just your years at Trinity, what are some of your fondest memories here at Trinity Christian School? Did I drag that out enough?
Specifically, on the baseball field specifically, I remember in the playoffs one year, Coach Grooms told me to steal home, and we did it, and this place was rocking. It was awesome. So that's a baseball memory that sticks out to me, but really just the daily. My wife says, I've never met anybody, and my sister as well, I've never met anybody that loves Trinity as much as you did. And I'm like, I mean, why would I want to leave that? But no, just the day-to-day, the fellowship with your friends and the teachers that care about you. It's a special place here. So.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Oh, the memory, I wasn't expecting that, but to steal home and the electricity of the crowd as a player or coach, you probably want a lot of those memories this year. Because sometimes that squeeze play might not work, and sometimes it's kind of a gamble, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You try to do a calculated risk, but sometimes it don't work out like you want. But that had to be electric, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's 2021, and I still remember it, so it was special for sure.
Okay, before I let you go, now you graduated in 2010. Here we are in 2021. Hopefully we got COVID behind us. We hope and pray we do, but you know, what have you seen from growing up in school at Trinity, and then you've coached the last so many years? Do you see any difference in the kids now versus then? Are they the same basically, or what do you see there?
To be completely honest, I think that there is a difference in the kids now. Now, I will say I was a kid then, so maybe I just didn't know it then. But I think the kids now, I think whether it be in the classroom or on the field, what they want is a relationship. And they may not come out and say that, but if you want to reach a kid, you have to create a relationship with them. And I think especially when it comes to coaching, I think that's why we were able to do some things at Mary Persons, baseball-wise, is because we just valued our relationship so much with the kids, and when they know that you believe in them, I think they care about what you say a lot more after that.
That's so important. And even you being a youth minister, youth pastor at Jeffersonville, kids struggle with a lot of things. You know, I think, you know, this last year, I know you've seen the same numbers I have, but suicides are sky high. And a lot of these are coming from our high schools and middle school. And what it is, they've lost hope. It had to be. And to be able to come to somebody like you or a Stan Cooley or Chuck Grooms or any teacher, we need that door open, don't we?
Absolutely. I think with everything that our kids see nowadays on their phones and on devices and all that kind of stuff, I think it's even more important that we teach them where our hope is found, so that it's in something that can't be taken away from us.
Amen. Because we know it's a solid rock. It don't mean everything's peaches and cream.
Right.
But we do know that God will get us through the fire. You know, there's no doubt about that. But so any parting words, anything that we hadn't talked about you'd like to say before we go?
I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to build something here, baseball-wise, and hopefully for the kingdom.
Absolutely. And we were talking before we went on about our homeless ministry here, and we talk about baseball or football, and when it's all said and done, we really want to be adding to the kingdom of God.
Absolutely. I think the biggest goal would be, and I think Coach Grooms said this when he was my coach, for you to come back in 10 years, 15 years down the road, and you're like, I still remember, you know, what you taught me, or I still remember the relationship that we had. You know, you may not be able to tell me a single thing that I said, but you know how much I cared about you and that you could still reach out to me at any time.
That's incredible. And I'll leave with, we hadn't talked about Coach Fields, who we lost this year, but I interviewed him, I guess 6 or 7 years ago. He was here 6 years, but my first interview with him, I asked him kind of in a jokingly manner, really, like I did you about the scoreboard, about how many he's going to win. And I said, do you think you're going to have a successful year? I'll never forget his answer, Josh. He says, well, I'll let you know in about 10, 15 years when these guys become men. and they become fathers and deacons of the church or businessmen, I'll let you know then how successful we are. Now that's somebody that has their priorities in order right there. And there's so much truth to that. So, and we're going to miss Coach Fields. We can't thank him enough for what he did, and Shannon, the family. We just love y'all so much, and he's been gone for about 90 days now, and it just seems like forever. You know, the book of James says life's a vapor and then we vanish. And I'm 60, you're 30, so about 30. But it's probably, you can say the same thing I do. Where did time go?
Absolutely.
You know, it's like you can say I was just in high school, or I can actually say that. It's just like, you know, it seems like I just graduated and it was 43 years ago, but that's how life is. It is that vapor. It's just a mist. So, but we know that death has no sting to those who believe. So we're excited about you being here. I was excited to talk to you today. It's a little warm out here on the baseball field, but we're outside people, so it didn't really matter. We may be sweating on camera, but Josh loves it, and I love being on the baseball field. This is incredible. But we look forward to many years of having shows like this and talking baseball or talking about Christ or whatever we come up with. There's no telling what we may talk about, but we wish you the best. We'll talk to you again before baseball, but we're excited about you being here, Josh.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for joining us today right here on TV.